Hello everyone, welcome back to Bioruminates, and today we are going to deal with the second part from the chapter Biomolecules, that is amino acids. So without any delay, let us start the topic. So, among different biomolecules I have introduced to you in the previous lecture, today we are going to start specifically with the amino acids. Amino acids are the organic compound and its structure comprises of four variable groups which are linked to a central carbon atom, and these groups are carboxyl group, amino group, hydrogen group, and this R group. This R group is the variable one which changes in all sort of amino acids, which we are going to discuss further in this lecture. Now, these amino acids are also known as substituted methane, and you can see it from the figure that, as in case of the methane, there are four different hydrogen groups which are attached to a central carbon atom. Rather than it, these groups are substituted by different hydrogen, ammonia, carboxylic, and R group. Now, these amino acids are also known as alpha amino acids. The reason is because amino and carboxylic group are joined to a central carbon atom, that is the alpha carbon. So, after discussing about the journals of the amino acid, let us peek into the journal properties of all amino acids. First property is all amino acids are amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric means they have or they can exist in the zwitterionic form, having both positive and negative charge. Second property is amino acid can act as acid and base because they are amphoteric molecule, and their acidic and basic property depend upon the solution in which they exist. Third important property is amino acids are optically active, which means that they can rotate the plane polarized light, and this optical activity is due to the chiral carbon which is present in the center. But the exception exists in case of the glycine. Glycine is an amino acid where R group is hydrogen atom which is similar to the another hydrogen which is attached to the alpha carbon, which makes it non-symmetrical, and we will look towards it in detail in the upcoming slides. Rather than it, amino acids are known as monomers of protein, that is, they are essential for the protein synthesis. Along with it, amino acid show a absorption maxima in the UV range, specifically near the 280 nanometer, and this absorption in the UV range of the amino acid is due to presence of the aromatic amino acids such as phenylalanine, tyrosine, and tryptophan. And these absorption properties are specifically used to quantify proteins at a region of 280 nanometer. Now, let us move towards the diversity in case of the amino acids. So, amino acids are diverse due to presence of a variable R group. In nature, there are around 300 different amino acids, but we are going to talk only about the amino acids which are present in the protein, which ranges from 20 to 22. Now let us look towards the classification of the amino acids. We are going to classify amino acid in a way which will be easy for all of you to memorize. So broadly, amino acid can be classified into two categories, that is your aliphatic amino acid and the aromatic amino acid. Broadly categorizing, you will see that all of the aliphatic amino acids will have a non-cyclic R group, whereas your aromatic amino acids will have a cyclic R group, and three amino acids which are categorized in the aromatic category involve the tyrosine, tryptophan, and phenylalanine. Now, your aliphatic amino acids can be further divided into two broad groups, that is your non-polar R group amino acid and the polar R group amino acids. As the name suggests, non-polar R group amino acids will be hydrophobic, means water hating, and it involves 7 different amino acids including glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, isoleucine, proline, and methionine. Now, polar R group can be further divided into uncharged R group or charged R group. Polar means water loving. So the uncharged R group involve 5 different amino acids including serine, threonine, cysteine, asparagine, and glutamine. Now, the charged R group can be positively charged or negatively charged. The positively charged R group involves lysine, arginine, and histidine, and the negatively charged R group involved two amino acid, that is aspartate and glutamate. So, as we have discussed about the classification of the amino acid, let's look towards the structure and functional role of each amino acid in every category. And firstly, we are going to discuss about the non-polar amino acids. So, it includes the glycine. Glycine is the most simplest amino acid, and in brackets there is the 3-letter and 1-letter code for the same. As we have discussed previously, it is an optically inactive amino acid due to presence of a symmetrical alpha carbon. As you can see, it have a R group which is hydrogen atom. So in this case, it is a symmetrical alpha carbon, that is why it can't rotate the plane polarized light. Second non-polar amino acid is alanine with methyl R group. Next is valine with aliphatic chain having the 3 carbon group. In this category, next is leucine. It have a 4 carbon R group, and the next amino acid is isoleucine. It is the isomeric form of the leucine, and it is known to have 2 different chiral carbons. Next is proline, and proline is actually not categorized as a amino acid because it lacks the free amino group. As in this case, proline have the amino group which is involved in forming a ring structure with the carbon which is a part of the R group, as you can see in the figure. That is why it is categorized as a amino acid, not as the amino acid. And last one in this category is the methionine. So methionine is one of the sulfur containing amino acid, but its sulfur is hidden due to presence of a methyl group, so it is not involved in the disulfide bond formation, but it have other roles. As we have seen in the protein synthesis, that methionine is the first amino acid which is incorporated. Now let's move to the second category of the aliphatic amino acid with the polar uncharged R group. Polar means these amino acid have the water loving R group, and the first one in this category is the serine. And as you can see in the figure, serine have a terminal OH group which is involved in the hydrogen bond formation. That is why it is known as the water loving. Similarly, if you see towards the threonine, it also have a terminal OH group with the 2 carbon chain. Next in this category is the cysteine or the cysteine. It is the second sulfur containing amino acid, but as in this case sulfur is exposed, so it is responsible for the disulfide bond formation, which is important to resume the tertiary structure of the protein. So when we will be discussing about the tertiary structure of the protein, you will come to know that the globular or the fibrous structure of the protein which is retained, it is particularly due to different disulfide linkages between the cysteine. Next is the asparagine. Asparagine is a hydrophilic amino acid with terminal amino group, and same is the case with the glutamine. It have a terminal amide group with 3 carbon chain. Now let's move towards the next category, which is of the polar positively charged amino acid. And first in this case is the lysine. Lysine have a terminal positively charged amino group. That is why it is under the category of positively charged amino acid. And lysine is known to have the longest carbon chain. Another positively charged amino acid include the arginine. Arginine also have a terminal amino group. Rather than it have role in the different precursor activities, such as it is important for the formation of nitrous or the nitric oxide, which is an important stress hormone, specifically acting as a regulator in case of the plants. Now let us move towards the last amino acid in this category, which is histidine. Histidine have a positively charged imidazole group, and it act as a precursor for the synthesis of a compound which is known as histamine. Next is the category of the negatively charged amino acid. in this category. First is the aspartate, which have a terminal negatively charged R group, and similarly we have another amino acid, that is glutamate. It is also have a negatively charged R group, that is your carboxylic group at the terminal end. But glutamate also have a role in the synthesis of the your GABA. GABA is the gamma alpha butyrate. Now the last in this category is of the aromatic amino acid. In the aromatic amino acid, the first one is tyrosine. Tyrosine is the one which have a phenol ring as the R group, and it have multiple accessory roles. Its first function is it act as a precursor for the catecholamine, and catecholamine involve different components such as dopamine, epinephrine and norepinephrine. Along with it, tyrosine is involved in the formation of your thyroid hormone, and it is also acting as a precursor for the melanin pigment. Second aromatic amino acid is your tryptophan. Tryptophan has the indole ring as a side group along with the alanine side chain, and it is a precursor for the hormones both in humans and in the plants. In humans, it is involved in synthesis of melatonin and serotonin, whereas in case of the plants it is involved in the synthesis of auxin. And the last amino acid in this category is phenylalanine. As the name suggests, it have a phenyl R group which is attached to the alanine moiety. So with this we are done with the structural role of all of the different amino acids. So the last component of this lecture is to categorize the amino acid on the basis of their need in the body. On the basis of their need in the body, the amino acids can be categorized into essential, non-essential and intermediate, that is your semi-essential amino acids. Now question arises how we are categorizing these different amino acids into these essential and non-essential group, and the answer lies in the metabolic pathway, which means that non-essential amino acids can be synthesized in the human body, which means their metabolic pathway are actively existing in our body and we can synthesize all non-essential amino acids, whereas essential amino acid can't be synthesized in the human body and we are dependent on the external sources, that is plants or different animals, for these essential amino acid. Now what are these semi-essential amino acids? Semi-essential means histidine or arginine are the two amino acids which we can synthesize but to a slower rate, and at certain situations such as in the younger age we are not able to synthesize these amino acids. At that particular time we are dependent on the external sources, otherwise we can synthesize it. So let us see what are the essential amino acids. It include lysine, leucine, isoleucine, methionine, tryptophan, phenylalanine, valine and threonine. So these 8 amino acid are coming under the category of essential amino acid. As we have already talked, semi-essential amino acid include histidine and arginine. So rest of the 10 amino acid come under the category of non-essential amino acid, that is alanine, serine, glycine, cysteine, aspartate, asparagine, glutamate, glutamine, proline and tyrosine. So this was all about the amino acid, their structures, their different functions and their role in the protein formation. So I hope this lecture was informative for all of you. For more updates and more such informative lectures, stay connected to the Bioruminates. Please like, subscribe and share this channel. Thank you so much.